afternoon, students. This is WHAP News, brought to you by Excel Gastion and Kayla Calloway.
And I am Benjamin Varghese, and I'm the narrator.
And today, we will be discussing the history of athletes protesting in America, specifically the events that involve the American flag and national anthem.
Most recent form of protest against the flag is athletes kneeling during our national anthem, specifically NFL players. The Steelers, a football team in the NFL, sat in the locker room during the playing of the national anthem on September 22, 2017. The players of the team said they needed to be a united front against the racial injustice present in America today.
But why is it that sports industry is tied with American nationalism? Where did this concept of saying the pledge or singing the national anthem before sports game come from? Being that America, one of the only countries that sings the national anthem before every game, we believe it began when Major League Baseball parks were emerging in the late 1800s. In Philadelphia on April 22, 1887, the Star-Spangled Banner was played. With just years after the Civil War, we believe the founders of MLB were trying to reunite America under one common interest and through a song. This causes a moment in history. This one day continued a lifelong tradition in America, and without this tradition, these protests today wouldn't have happened.
But what inspired these protests? Has it happened before? And will it continue to? And will we see a change in history?
So, we're going to go back in time where this all began, where athletes saying they do not want to stand behind a flag that represents America, and which allows for inequality and discrimination to continue against African Americans.
One of the first documented protests against the national anthem was in 1947 when Jackie Robinson, a black baseball player, broke the color barrier in the MLB, who originally played on the blacks-only team during the time of segregation, and was then asked to play on a team of white men. During the national anthem, he held his own silent protest by staying quiet while his peers sang.
I cannot stand and sing the anthem. I cannot salute the flag. I know that I am a black man in a white world, said Robinson himself. Robinson, unable to stand behind a flag that is supposed to represent America as one and provides equality, while it was clear that America was divided by color. And this team was a great example of this divided America. A divided America that continues today, the reason why we still have protests like the Steelers football team.
The co-captain of Aldeburgh College, Chris Wood, was removed from his basketball team for not standing during the playing of the national anthem. He did not believe in any division between countries. As Chris Wood said, "We believe in fellowship of man. We do not believe in any form of nationalism." The NFL players' actions were similar to Wood's in that they refused to stand behind a flag that represented America and its ideals. While there was no pictures of this incident, we did come across an original newspaper clipping of the story.
This isn't the first time American athletes have disrespected the American flag. During the Olympics in Mexico City, 1968, Tommy Smith and John Carlos stood on the award podiums barefooted and fists raised high in the air as the national anthem was played. They were later asked to return their medals. Some people questioned why they would do such a thing, and their answer was simple.
The answer was simple. They removed their shoes to protest poverty, especially black poverty, and raised their fists in defiance to what America was allowed to happen. They refused to show tribute to their country, a country that neglects the well-being of all its people instead of just some. The gestures they did showed that they were not afraid to hide behind a mask, that America was perfect.
A situation similar to the 1968 Olympics, 4 years later, the Olympics in Munich, fears arose at athletes repeating the Mexico City gesture. Vince Matthews and Wayne Collette were both African-American track medalists in the Olympics that year. When the national anthem of America was played, the two men did not face the flag, stood there with their hands on their hips, and wore their uniforms improperly. These two athletes were clearly in favor of Tommy Smith and John Carlos' actions that occurred previously.
The copycat of the previous Olympic protest goes to show that in the time frame, nothing changed, that the actions of Smith and Carlos may have made headlines, but have not motivated change within America. Instead, these athletes are punished for their protests, and America continues to hide their mistreatment. and this just causes more and more athletes to act out.
Tying back to NFL players protesting against racial discrimination, 14 black football players requested their coach, Lloyd Eden, to wear black armbands and protest racial slurs that were encountered during games. In response to this action, in 1971, 50 students refused to stand during the national anthem and wore similar black armbands in support of their players during the game.
This caused a chain reaction because while football players couldn't do more than wear an armband without receiving punishment, their fan support were able to take the protest to the next step, similar to NFL players today. The NFL players kneeling started with one man and caused a chain reaction. NFL players all across the nation began kneel or protest, all in favor of one common act.
Surprisingly, Exceli, not all protests have been racially associated. A basketball player named
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf
in 1996 refused to stand for the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner. The NBA star previously converted to Islam and believed that the United States was an unjust tyranny, which conflicted with his Islamic beliefs. Actions aren't racially directed like NFL players' protests are. They are akin in the sense that these people see the flag as a representation of America, but not just America, but America's ideals. And America hasn't always been religiously accepting of Islamic beliefs. And Muhammad wanted that time to pray and give peace in his own way.
The famous basketball player saw the flag as a symbol of oppression. While he protested peacefully and with reason, he was still punished and suspended from a game that season.
In 2003, basketball player Tony Smith made front covers for repudiating the American flag during the playing of the national anthem. She protested for peace between the United States and Iraq. Something all these protests have in common is each person wants peace, for America to spread peace and represent peace. That's all these athletes truly want, for their flag and country to represent honorable characteristics, which is exactly what NFL teams are protesting for.
Corresponding to anti-war ideals,
We see athletes from the NFL to basketball and even baseball stand against symbols of America. In 2004, Major League Baseball player Carlos Delgado stood in the dugout during the 7th inning while God Bless America played. Many American teams had been playing this song in support of the war between America and Afghanistan and Iraq at the time.
Delgado thought the war was stupid and felt bad for those who are continuing to lose family members and loved ones due to the war. Just like NFL players, he wanted to show how America doesn't value lives as much as they display they do. America continues to say they care about lives and want to stop debt globally, but continue to kill its own people and allow American citizens to kill innocent people in other countries.
A more recent event, November 2014, Ariana Smith, a college women's basketball player, walked away from the bench during the national anthem and proceeded to stand under the basket, hands held high in the air.
She then laid on the ground exactly 4 minutes and 30 seconds to imitate the 4 hours and 30 minutes the time a teenage boy's body was left after being shot by police. Smith was trying to get justice for the boy, seeing as a police officer wasn't convicted for any crime.
And with events like that one, Exceli, is exactly where we see the build-up to NFL players kneeling. The same police brutality acts that have progressively gotten worse that we see these protests increase.
I agree with that statement. I also believe that these racial protests have inspired other protesters, even if they're not racially related. For example, Dion Waiters.
2014, Dion Waiters, a shooting guard in the NBA, stayed in the locker room during the national anthem, saying he skipped because he was Muslim.
But his story later changed, mentioning miscommunication, and many believe that his story changed due to fear of suspension from the team. Which is sad, because our First Amendment gives us the right to freely express ourselves, and the sports industry has turned that right into a punishment.
Amen!
Hallelujah!
The Steeler incident was inspired by San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick. He decided to kneel during the national anthem in 2016 to stand up against the oppression of black people in America. Going unnoticed for the first few times, he rapidly began to gain attention and was criticized for his actions. Colin stood his ground and inspired many other NFL players and teams to join this movement. His protest was against police brutality towards African Americans. He was taking a knee for all those who had died at the hands of police officers.
Back to our story with the new location. U.S. women's national soccer player Megan Rapinoe, kneels during the national anthem on September 18, 2016. Megan said herself, "I have chosen to kneel because I simply cannot stand for the kind of oppression this country allows against its own people." This relates to the similar NFL actions that they both disagreed with the oppression America was allowing against its citizens. As you can see, over the course of 50 years, no dramatic change has occurred, no stop what these athletes are protesting for.
September 27th, history was made in Bruce Maxwell. A rookie catcher became the first Major League Baseball player to kneel during the national anthem. Surprisingly, he's a member of a military family, so understands the value of the American flag and the tribute it pays to veterans. With said, Maxwell feels that he wants to see a society that is more empathetic and inclusive of its people.
As you can see in this video, we've explained different types of oppression present here in America. And the protests will continue to happen until America does have something dramatically change. Athletes will continue to protest, others will continue to protest, by the problems that occur today here in America.
That's all for your WHAP News.
Thanks for watching. Similar, where do you see the word similar? Oh,
Similar.
similar. Similar? Similar. Similar. Similar.
Similar?
Similar.
Similar to the NFL players today.
A similar. Oh!